Hello and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor. This week we're recapping episode 12 of Survivor 48, Icarus Time.
Yeah.
Goodbye, goodbye. You were bigger than the whole sky. What a episode of Survivor. It was definitely an episode.
It was definitely an episode.
Definitely an episode that we watched.
Yeah, it's definitely something that was on my screen.
Right. But before we get into the dirty details of this episode, Maddie, I have to ask, how are you doing?
I truly have not been better. Because
Love that
could
for
not
you.
have been better. I don't know. Because guys, the blackberries that I got at the grocery store yesterday, every single one in that little clamshell is truly
The juiciest berry you've ever had in your life.
the best thing I've ever tasted.
Love that for you.
I think there might not be a better fruit than when a blackberry is good. Like a good blackberry, I think for me, just is better than any other fruit I can think of. Even like better strawberries, there's just something about a blackberry. And I'm just like, counting my blessings for that. Because
It is, yeah. That's a good way to put it. You never know until you get that one bad batch and you're just like, damn.
yes, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have to take a break from the blackberries. I wasn't even planning on getting them. They weren't even on my list at the store yesterday. I walked by them and I said, those are coming home with me. Those look
Bring them to mama.
Yeah, those are coming home. And they are almost gone. I have had to limit myself because I can't stop eating them. And you know what? I don't think there's any harm in that. So that's good. I think ultimately I'm just happy that produce is getting better in general as we get into summertime and things are more fresh. My strawberries have also been so good lately. And I'm just so grateful for that. One thing I'm not grateful for, though, I do just have to jump on this, is Paramount Plus. I'm going to say it until I die. Because why? When I was in the middle, not the middle, I would say it was about right after they got back from the reward challenge where Mitch was complaining about Joe being picked to go on the reward. Why did it just crash? And fully didn't come back on. I had to restart my whole TV because it wouldn't exit out of Paramount Plus all the way.
Loves to do that.
So I have my theory at this point is that viewership is down and they wanted me to have to click back on and watch again. So which it was actually really interesting context, and maybe I'm interested to hear how the episode goes a little bit because I missed a lot of Shaheen and Joe talking at the reward, but
Oh, did you not go back and watch it?
no, I did.
Oh.
But watching it without some of the context was really interesting, and then this morning I had to go back and rewatch it.
That specific part of the episode?
Yes.
You're better than me because I would have made a note. I would have said, I didn't watch this, so you're just gonna have to fill me in. You're better than me.
I was like, I need to know what happened.
Nothing is worse than having to go back onto Paramount Plus to watch something.
That is
I hate Paramount Plus.
That is live currently.
Yeah.
It does not want you to do it.
I was a TikTok or something, I don't know where, but somebody was talking shit about Paramount Plus, and they were like, it's the sixth, it's ranked 6 out of all the major streaming services, which is not good. I don't even know if I can name 5, Netflix, Max, Hulu.
Oh no, they went back to HBO Max this week.
I saw
by
that.
the way. Get alive.
And you know what? While you're at it, put Legendary back on there. That's all I'm asking. Rowan and I were talking about that, how they erased that TV show from existence. And I'm anyway.
My favorite comment on a TikTok that they put out about rebranding back to HBO Max was you HBO Max were the only ones calling it Max, by the way.
Right. So interesting. No, Paramount Plus, Maddie and I, outside of the podcast, have been saying this for years about how we hate Paramount Plus.
It's the worst. By far.
Did they just get me to buy a 2-month Showtime subscription? Yes. Because I want to watch Fellow Travelers, and I have not been able to because I've been not wanting to buy the Showtime subscription, but they were offering 2 months for the price of one. So I
Gotcha.
said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I'll have it for 2 months. Gives me 2 months to watch that and any fun other Showtime shows that I want to
Yeah.
watch.
Ugh. So there's that. That really put a damper on my night. I was already, to speak my truth, not really enjoying this. I'm so sorry about being negative, by the way. But like, I just cannot hide my emotions. But I was already just like not enjoying the episode, and
That's what
then
they're watching
that
our
happened.
podcast for. If they're watching our podcast, they want to know
So
our emotions and
that
thoughts.
you've got a point there. But I was just already so annoyed at watching the episode, and then for it to crash, I was like, no, this is my last straw. I was like, maybe this is a sign that I should just stop, but it's not. Anyways, the final thing I want to talk about, maybe for the last time, we'll see, update next week. The Amazing Race finale is tonight as of us recording this, and I love this season so much. My faves, at Carson and Jack, you are my favorite team, and I'm just so proud of you and so happy for you that you made it to the finale, the last leg, and Han and Holden, shout out. You guys really pulled it together then there. My favorite sibling duo that's always fighting. But it's such a good show. And, if you're just like not really enjoying Survivor at the moment, go check it out. But anyways, that's how I'm doing. How are you, Riley?
Work. Well, I feel like for me, this portion of the podcast has become just a media review podcast, like a media review
Love.
portion. I have to talk about this movie that I saw on Tuesday. Y'all,
Yeah.
if you have not seen Sinners,
I haven't seen it.
you need to get on your Zoom and see it. I'm not joking. One of the best movies I've ever seen. I loved it.
Okay.
I'm not a horror movie fan. That genre is not something I particularly buy for myself. Loved it. So good. I highly recommend it. Made by a black director, so I would recommend everybody go out and buy the movie tickets to see the movie in theaters. So good. Obviously, Maddie hasn't seen it, and I'm not going to spoil the movie for everybody. But horror movie, there's vampires in it. It's set in like post World War I, the Mississippi Delta. So good. Borderline a musical. That might be controversial to say, but I'm gonna say it. I mean, it's about music. The movie is about music. That's like one of the main themes is music. But the music is so good. I would say it's a movie about music. It's a movie about religion. It's a movie about family. It's so, and I say this with all the love in the world, good. Great movie. I could
love
see it.
that.
I don't know. I know I know the history with the Academy Awards and horror movies is not a good it's not oftentimes horror movies are not praised at the Academy Awards. Maybe this movie's gonna win Oscars. I already know it. This isn't a spoiler alert. Michael B. Jordan plays twins, and he is both of them.
I
And
love that.
like, I'm watching the movie, I'm like, this is two different people. I'm watching it and I'm like, this is two men acting together. Maybe no, it's Michael B. Jordan acting with himself. So good. So hot. Very sexy movie. Was so good. I did see it at 11:30 a.m. It was crazy work. I did get matinee tickets. It was cheaper. It's so good. It's crazy because I've been on 3 separate occasions I had planned to see it, and every time my plans fell through. Every single time my plans fell through. And I was like, I need to see this movie before it's out of theaters. Like, the director has been saying they just re-released it on the film, The Ratio, because it's you have the normal movie ratio, but then I think they filmed it in a wider ratio, or it's either wider or taller. I can't remember, but either way, it's a different ratio. So they re-released it in only like a couple movie theaters. Let's just say I don't live close enough to a major city for that to have been possible. But go see Sinners if you haven't. I think I'm late to the bandwagon. Like, everybody's been talking about Sinners. I've just been avoiding it because I've been meaning to see it. I saw it on Tuesday. So good. Get out on your Zoom. Go out and see it. Such a good movie.
I've heard so many people talking about it, and I need to go see it. My problem is I just went to the movie theater. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I went and saw Pride and Prejudice re-released.
Oh.
And that was also so fun. Matinee movie. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I need to see Sinners. I
see
love a
it.
vampire. So, like, how... I guess I don't even know what it's about. Like, what role do the vampires play? Like, is it like a big thing?
It is a big thing. It's okay. So if this is the opening scene, like I can just like quickly explain it. You open up and it's like they're explaining how there's the role of music in like life and death, and how music, certain like past cultures have specific musicians within their communities that play music in a certain way that can connect you to the past and the future. And so it's like the Irish have it, West African communities have it, and like American indigenous communities. They all have these people who historically there's somebody in their community that can play music in a specific way that grants you access to both the past and the future.
Okay,
And
that's
so,
so interesting.
I don't want to spoil, but so the idea is like, I'm not going to spoil it, but the vampires, if you're thinking about the past and the future,
Yeah.
vampires come in, vampires live for a long time. So you can kind of put pieces together in that sense. But so good.
That sounds
It's
so
really
good.
good. And then I was talking about it at work yesterday. One of my coworkers was like, she said, "Are you saying it's good because Michael B. Jordan was in it and you know he's hot, or are you saying it's good because it was a good movie?" And I said, both can be true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both can be true.
Two things can be true at once.
Two things, and they're both true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd say see it. I liked it.
That's so fun.
People have some fun theories about it. I've been online and just
Oh.
hearing the people who made the movie put the movie together. I've not Ryan. I think the director's name is Ryan Coolidge. Coolidge. There's a D somewhere in that last name. I don't know where, but he's so passionate about filmmaking, and
I love that.
hearing him talk about this movie, I'm like, oh, I love hearing people talk about their art. It's just so special. The cast really loves it. The director, he obviously loves it. So
And that's always fun.
it is fun.
Yeah.
So really, I think it's a special movie, and I think it's gonna win awards. Hopefully, I don't know. I'm no one to be talking about that, but I just feel it.
You would give it an award.
I would.
You give it all the awards.
Right.
So, cool.
Well, let's vampires. Me trying to make vampires our transition to the episode. Let me see how that can work.
You
Give me a
know,
minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute to think about it.
Vampires.
Vampires and Survivor, they go hand in hand if you really think about it.
Well, because like vampires kind of suck the energy out of things and like the life out of things, and you could say that like in some
This
ways
season has really just...
done a number
I was
on.
watching this last night, and I said, if I didn't have a podcast, I probably would have just waited until the season was over and then binged it, if I'm being honest.
The impact that this has had on the momentum that Survivor has been building up the past few seasons is like actually devastating. And
It's
that
crazy
is
because there is the momentum.
Vampiric.
Vampiric inherently.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Survivor 50, I think outside of this season, in the general Survivor community, there is still a lot of hype because Survivor 50 is actively casting right now,
Yeah.
and it's finalizing its cast at the moment. I have been trying my hardest to avoid spoilers. I haven't really
Yeah.
seen anybody, so we're avoiding that until the cast release. But it's
Yeah.
there's outside of this season, there definitely is still a momentum happening, but this season has really slowed things down. You're right. Okay, so jumping into this episode, we are post Mary being voted out. Rest in peace to the Queen, and we start with Mitch saying he has been waiting to make a move, and the time is now.
Guys, I
Girl.
had to say, I'm just so glad that we were able to find out that the time to make a move in Survivor is going to go ahead and be the final 6.
Right here, right now, in this
Anytime
moment.
before that is just too soon.
Bats, eyelashes, blank stare. I'm left like that. Mitch saying that, I'm gonna be honest, did make me want to turn my TV off last night. I'm gonna be fully honest. I said, oh my god, it's just the same story every week. And I said this last episode or an episode or two ago. It's the Big Brother effect. I'm watching and I'm left being like, damn, you say this week after week, and it's not fun. Like,
No.
I'm over it. I'm over hearing the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Eva says that she feels good. Obviously, why wouldn't she? She has an idol, and I don't think she can use it anymore. She had the
No.
safety without power, but it doesn't come up at all. She still has her idol good until next tribal, and she has an alliance majority. She says that it should be pretty cut and dry from here. It should be pretty simple moving forward.
Yeah. Good for her.
Yeah, we get a quick cut over to the next morning, and the majority group is talking about where they are going next. And shocker, they say Mitch should go before Camilla.
Yeah.
I was really hoping, I have this, okay, this would have been, this is later in the morning, I have this thought, but I'm just sitting here and I'm like, oh my god, as much as I want something at this point in the episode, obviously things do end up getting shooken up a little bit, but at the beginning of this episode, I said, I really hope Mitch goes home. As much as I would hate that, I hope this steamroll continues just to prove a point.
Yes.
That Mitch and Camilla should have made a move 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, I was like, I want the steamroll to happen, because you need to be proven wrong to be shown that you're stupid and this doesn't work.
And you know what? It kind of like is the same effect though with Shaheen going home. I'm like,
it kind of is.
It didn't really accomplish anything for me, in my opinion.
No, because there's still a 3-person majority. Like, they could honestly, Mitch is probably gonna go home next episode.
Yeah.
Or go home next tribal.
Yeah.
Like, we'll get there. We'll get there. Kyle, at this early morning, it's still dark outside. The sun has not has not rose yet, and Kyle is thinking that he knows he's at a crossroads, and this next move, he needs to think with his head. He cannot think with his heart any longer. He needs to be smart about his next decision.
Yeah.
And then we get our little intro, our fun little introduction theme.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts with the theme?
Oh, what theme?
Not you gaslighting me right now, what?
No, like, because there's no theme.
Oh, yeah. I meant more in the sense that...
No, in the sense that...
Because
no.
what I meant was, if you really think about it in the context of...
Oh, that's not...
Right. You keep thinking, we'll go to the next part of the episode. We're post intro music, and Shaheen is manifesting to the Survivor gods right now. He says, Jeff, please let this not be another arm strength challenge. He says, look at these legs. To quote Naomi Small, what's on the menu? Legs, what's on the menu? He said, I need a leg strength challenge.
And
I gotta put these babies to work.
Look at these.
I'm gonna be honest.
Look at your hairy legs.
I'm gonna be honest. They look like normal legs. I
was thinking that. I was like,
those
are definitely legs.
I'm like, they don't necessarily look like. What's it like a? Eva got some hockey legs. Yeah. Those are some legs. I'll give Eva her 10s there.
Yeah.
You want a nice pair of legs? Look at Eva's legs. Shaheen, clock that. And then we have Mitch talking about how he's starting to play. Mitch is ready to play.
He's ready, guys. It just took him like 20-something days.
I feel like he's been saying this for the last 3 episodes, though. He's been saying, now's the time. The time is now. The place is here.
I think time is just a construct.
To Mitch, I do think it is, too. I think he is just feeling it out. Yeah. He's feeling the vibes.
Right.
The vibes need to be right to make the right move.
Yeah.
And the vibes weren't right until today.
He's just been, like, fine with the vibes, so...
Shaheen is hearing that people are afraid of Joe because Mitch comes up to him and is like, we should get Joe out this episode. Mm-hmm. As Shaheen said, heard? And guess what? I don't really care. Shaheen said, I hear what you're saying, but he thinks that it's worth the risk. Shaheen thinks that he would beat Joe in a final tribal council.
And you know what? I think, like, not to jump ahead or derail a little bit, but, like, I think it's so interesting how everyone thinks that they can sort of beat Joe. Like, clearly, he's just not that, like, people just don't, I don't know. I'm getting such mixed signals where I'm hearing Joe is the target, Joe is the one to win, like, I don't want to sit next to him. Mm-hmm. But then I'm hearing, like, from Shaheen, and then just like based on the actions of everyone else, I'm like, so you do think that you could beat him like in Final
Right.
Tribal? Like, what is the story here? I'm getting confused because
I think that's a
thought you
great point.
I thought you were all scared of him,
Right.
but then like clearly no one but I guess Mitch is. But then I'm also like, well, Mitch, you've sort of been aligned with him a lot of the time and like wanting to sort of suck up to him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, what's the story here?
I get what I agree with what you're saying. I hadn't put too much thought in it, but you're right. There has been a mixed sort of narrative on, well, I could sit next to him and out-talk him, but also he is the major threat to win.
Yeah. So I'm like, but
I think like the middle is that I think I think what's scary to people at the moment is that how well insulated he is. Like, there's always this talk. I think it mostly happens around like thinking about goats and bringing goats to the end. That, well, Joe at this point is for sure taking up a final tribal council spot, right? Like, he's so well insulated, nobody's gonna get rid of him. So instead of finding a spot in the final 3, you're now fighting for a spot in the final 2, because there's so many scenarios where Joe makes it to the final 3, right?
Yeah.
So I can understand why that is the main concern. But I also understand what people are saying with this idea that you feel like you can beat Joe, because I have a feeling Joe is not going to be able to speak his game very well. I don't think he's going to be able to... Like, he might have some secure votes on the jury, but I don't think he's going to be able to persuade anybody to vote for him, if that makes sense. Like, if it was between a Kyle and a Joe, or a Shaheen and a Joe, I feel like Kyle and Shaheen could do a better job in persuasive argument.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally both of their jobs, is knowing persuasive argument.
That's very true. But
So,
that's a lot of risk in that, I feel.
It is. I mean, Shaheen says that. Shaheen says, I know it's a risk, but it's a risk I'm willing to take.
I'm like, that's actually crazy, though.
Yeah.
Because why would... I don't know.
I mean, if you're just looking at things on paper, which I feel like a lot of this jury might do, is just look on paper what looks like the best game. Joe is hands down playing the best game.
Yeah.
On paper, like without all of the nuance. That's the exact word I was looking for. Without all the nuance, I mean, you do it for 78 episodes. You can just finish each other's.
We'll
work on that. But yeah, without the nuance, Joe's looks strong. But then you put all the nuance of Kyle's game in there. It gets a little bit more tricky.
I don't know. I'm just like, I feel like they don't even know what they want.
I don't think they do either. I don't think
the jury knows what they want either. I just feel like it's so, no matter what, I think it's hard to like even want to put yourself next to Joe when it's like, I really don't know how the jury is going to feel.
Yeah.
Because they were sort of drinking the Kool-Aid until they weren't. Or they were just never involved in the Kool-Aid. They weren't
invited
no
to
one
the
shared
party.
with them. Yeah, they weren't invited.
To Club Condo or whatever Jeff called it.
Yeah.
Camilla is in a similar boat as Mitch at this point. Again, I love her and I'm obsessed with Camilla. But at this point, I need her to just be proven wrong. I need her to get voted out just because I just need the point to be proven that y'all should have made a move 3 episodes ago.
Not only that, but I'm like, Camilla, I need you to play for yourself.
Right.
Because last episode was when she basically gave Kyle permission to bring her to, final whatever, and then ditch her when needed, as long as one of them are in the final 3. But then, like, even this episode, literally not to jump ahead again, but, like, the lie kind of puts, like, Camilla in a really weird spot, and I don't know if it's necessarily in a positive way.
No, like, she's going to be taking the brunt of that. I mean, her and Kyle both, but really, without Camilla, the whole thing would have been...
Right, but, like, at least Kyle can sort of get Kyle's the one that orchestrated everything.
Gets the
Camilla
credit,
was
right.
just, like, a piece of that puzzle.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't really feel like you're putting yourself in the best position here, and sort of most of these plans that you guys are coming up with.
Seems like Camilla is the pawn, like, the piece...
Yeah.
Basically what you just said, yeah. Like, she's not going to get the credit especially if she's sitting next to Kyle.
Yeah.
So, that's...
Because, that's the thing is, like, yes, you guys want to get there together. I just feel like someone
But y'all are going to be fighting for... Sorry, you go.
Someone on TikTok made a comment that I thought was really interesting. And I think, so they said, it feels like at this point, Joe is really the only one who, like, is actually playing for himself. Like, everyone else seems kind of confused about, like, how they're getting to the end, which I also sort of disagree. I mean, like, I agree and I disagree with. I think I understand what Joe is doing and, like, wanting to bring Eva to the end, but then obviously he can outtalk Eva, I think, at this point. But, like, what are these people playing for? Like, why is Camilla letting Kyle sort of do all this? I don't really understand.
I think part of it is that Camilla needs Kyle. Like, where Kyle doesn't necessarily need Camilla at this point, Camilla does need Kyle. And so I guess that is that there's a lot of reliance on others, especially for the people who were in that core. There's a reliance that they're going to do their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
But I was going to say that it's also scary for Kyle and Camilla, especially if I was Camilla. I think they're not thinking, at least verbally out loud, enough about how they're going to be fighting for the same jury votes at the end.
Yeah.
The same people who are going to be just as likely to vote for Kyle are going to be just as likely to vote for Camilla.
Well, I think that's what I was trying to get at, but ultimately didn't. You put it better than I did. Yeah, how, if they both make it to the end, like, how is Camilla supposed to argue with a lot of this?
Right.
Or even, like, Kyle. I don't know how you decide between that, I guess. I don't know. It's all kind of weird. Where I feel like the other obvious partnership, Eva and Joe, I feel like it's much more obvious, like, Joe.
Right.
But I don't know.
I guess it depends on what angle of the story you like. Like, if you like an underdog person who really fought for their way to be there, obviously you would go for Camilla. But Kyle has such a, not Godfather-like approach, but very much like, if you like the person who was behind the planning of everything.
But then I even, like, another thing I was thinking about that's so interesting, and that they even say is, like, well, they don't really want to put Eva on the jury because that's an obvious, like, very vocal point for Joe. It's just so messy in the least uninteresting way.
Right. If I were Kyle and Camilla, if I were Kyle or Camilla, honestly, taking Eva and Joe to the end, I think, because then a similar thing, you'd think that people are, well, no, because you're right. Between Joe and Eva, I think Joe is going to get the votes. Like, I don't think people are going to vote for Eva, where it's less likely that Kyle is going to get all of Camilla's votes. You know what I mean? Or Camilla's going to get all of Kyle's votes, vice versa. So it's interesting, because I do feel like there is a path where, okay, if Kyle sits at the end with Joe and Eva, that he played such a different game than both of them, and it's such an, like, where they were really focused on honesty. Like, Kyle was never really about that from day one, you know?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting enough different argument that could do well, but then Joe's just been so dominant in everything he's done.
Yeah.
I just don't think Joe is going to, if he makes it to the end, I don't think there's a successful story there. Like, I have a feeling he has a lot of passion when he talks. He has a lot of passion, and passion in itself can be persuasive enough, but I don't think that he is going to easily be able to articulate his game like a Kyle or even a Camilla could.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just interesting. There's a lot of ins and outs thinking about the dynamic moving forward.
Yeah.
We go to the reward challenge. Not them doing a reward challenge in the one challenge they do in the ocean this season, and it's literally storming.
Oh.
Y'all could have put a little tent up, a little cover up to.
Right. But no, this is them. They're on Survivor.
They're on Survivor. This is what you want. You come out to Survivor for. Y'all, they're in the ocean. It's storming. It's the little hold yourself up challenge. They're on like an angled bench, and they have to use their leg strength, Shaheen, to hold themselves up, as well as holding some bars on the side.
Yeah.
And if they win, they get to go to the sanctuary where good things happen.
Guys,
she's back, y'all.
Thank God the sanctuary is back.
We have been begging for episodes. The Making Fire podcast has been holding Survivor production accountable the last 4 episodes, begging for the sanctuary to come back.
God, Jeff heard our prayers. He's listening.
And they put that together just
Yeah.
for us.
Can I say though, why? Okay, they get to like spend the night. It doesn't look that cool though.
No,
Like,
it doesn't.
what was the reason that all along they couldn't have been at the sanctuary? I feel like I'm just missing something.
I don't know.
And like, why couldn't they have gone to like, I don't know, some actual like indoors nice sleepaway thing? I don't know.
Nothing could top the aura of the sanctuary after Operation Italy You worked at Operation Italy out there. Like the aura of the sanctuary, you just can't top that. Like that is undefeated. I
That
feel
was
like.
peak.
They're playing for the sanctuary, and out the sanctuary, they're playing for burgers, drinks, desserts. They get to sleep in a little bed, and guess what? GAG, letters from home.
Aww.
Oh, gag, letters from home. This is a real pusher for everybody. Everybody really wants those letters, and they start the challenge. We learn early on in the challenge that Shaheen has a ganglion cyst on his wrist. And I quote, "I have a ganglion cyst on my wrist, bro." Shaheen just seems over Jeff as well. He seems very, very over Jeff. He's just
Very.
like, just get this challenge going.
Yeah.
IDGAF.
I wonder
what
what
he
Shaheen
said.
would be like on another season.
It's really interesting. My friend, shout out to Austin. He doesn't watch, but he, oh, you don't watch Big Brother, so you wouldn't get the reference.
No.
He said, Shaheen really reminds me of Paul from Big Brother, which I thought was interesting. They kind of they both have the same sort of like beard going on, if that helps you visualize that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I necessarily get Paul from Big Brother, but Austin had a similar thought. It was like, basically, I'm wondering like what Shaheen would be like had he not been starving on an island for 24 days. Like, what's the vibe there? And I get, like, what would he be like on another season? What would he be like in a game where he can eat? You know,
And like
eat,
also just play
right.
more. Well, but you know he could be playing more. I'm not gonna
Give him his tens.
that. Yeah.
I have a problem. I guess it's not a problem, but I don't know. I just was like, girl, what? At some point in this challenge, Eva's stomach starts growling. And I said, how the hell can Eva's stomach possibly be growling right now? I'm sorry. Miss Diva has ate for the past like 7 days. I don't get it. It's that athlete metabolism. Diva has to eat.
I don't know why, but hearing her stomach grumble like that
it
made
pissed
me
me
mad.
off. I literally said, girl, what is going on right now? You ate literally yesterday. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, that also, I was left being like, huh. Interesting, to say the least. At one point, everybody is alive in the challenge till the very end, to the point where Jeff has to be like, straighten out your legs. And then that's when we get people immediately falling. But I'm like, I hate, why do we have to rush the challenges?
I was thinking this.
Why can't we just let them keep their legs on? Y'all constructed the challenge in the first place. I don't, like, why can't we just let them stay it out? Like, why do we have to just be like, okay, flat legs.
Exactly.
And then you can't do the inherently, so then Eva gets booted, and not to defend Eva real quick, she gets booted from the challenge because she pushes herself up, which is an instinctive thing to do when you're falling, by the way. And Jeff's like, no, Eva, you propped yourself up with your feet, you have to go. And I was like, I don't know, like, it's not like she stayed like that. Like, I understand what he was saying and understand the idea of why production did that, but I'm also like, it's just the instinctive thing to do when you're falling.
I kind of also feel like they either should have started feet out or like let them sort of do the crouch thing as long as possible.
Right.
Like,
it just felt like they were rushing to finish it up. I'm like, why do we gotta rush it?
Because it felt like, oh, well, no one dropped, so, all right, we're gonna make this, like, let's speed this up. Because clearly this isn't working.
The only thing, honestly, I think it would have been more exciting if they weren't allowed to hold on to the poles anymore. If instead they only could rely on their legs.
Yeah.
And it was like cross your arms and then just hold yourself up by your legs. Or you could like push yourself up on the thing, but you can't use the sides anymore.
Clearly, like, the little hand, like, the handholds getting smaller didn't really affect them.
No, and I don't think they've done that in the past for this challenge. Like, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's interesting. Shaheen ends up winning.
Ganglion cyst and all.
Ganglion cyst and all, bro. And he picks Joe because Joe shows. He said, "No man I've ever met shows his emotions as much as Joe shows his emotions." So he picks Joe, and picks Kyle because Kyle's getting married in a month.
Great.
So that's that.
Yeah, that was a really interesting pick.
It was an interesting group. I will have to say. And we hop over to the reward, and it's pretty chill. It's family letters. It's sad. The group of boys, they're talking about parenting, talking about fatherhood and the roles of their fathers in their life. Obviously, we hear about Joe's children. We hear about his sisters and how he lost his sister to domestic violence and how that was very traumatic for him, especially because they had fought on the phone the night before she died.
Yeah, that's really awful.
That is really awful, really devastating. We'll get more to this later, but it's a big reason why he's out here on Survivor is because this was always his sister Joanna's dream, and he is living that dream for him and her, and so it's a really important moment. It was good. Like I was like, oh, I'm feeling for you. In a world where in the last couple episodes I have made comments about kind of being over anecdotes, I was like, this is special. Like at this moment, we'll get there in a second. Yeah. But I was like, I'm liking this. This is cute. And they enjoy it. Before we get post all this, we go back to the camp, and Mitch and Camilla are heated. Specifically, Mitch. They are.
I just don't want to hear it.
I don't either. They are mad that Joe is on the reward, and I just have to say, I don't feel bad. What is it? IJBOL.
Huh?
IJBOL. I just bust out laughing. I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for you too. No,
I don't, because it's almost like you've had multiple opportunities to try and take a shot at Joe, but all of a sudden now is the right time just because you decided that.
Right.
And okay, he got picked to go on the reward. I don't care.
I don't care. I'm sorry.
I hear them, but I'm also right, but you want to get Joe out now. That doesn't necessarily mean that Shaheen does, just because you talked about it with him.
But this is their turning point on Shaheen specifically. Mitch and Camilla are like, fuck Shaheen, basically for the same energy as Mary last episode with the banana etiquette. They're like, Mary ate too many bananas. She needs to go. Shaheen didn't pick us to go on the reward. This is the nails in his coffin. He needs to go. So Camilla,
when you picked Eva to go last time, where was this? Did you not care then?
Right.
Why is it all of a sudden
an issue?
Yeah.
It's because they're not getting picked.
Yeah.
Which, IDGF.
My other thing with the family letters is it kind of is a bummer that they do it so late.
Right. I mean, I guess this is right before the final push to the end, right? You can literally see the finish line. So I understand why, because this is probably a really big motivator for a lot of people in those final moments, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
It's more of a knife when there's only 6 people left and half the people get it and half the people don't. You know what I mean? When it's a group of 10 people, you're like, oh, if I can only pick 3, it's not I can only pick 3.
I hope... Okay, here's my thing.
Speak.
Can I say something bad? I don't really care about family letters.
We've talked about this before. I think you and I have talked about this before, where... Again, we've never been on Survivor, so we obviously we don't know how it feels. I'm just I
think...
You're 25 days away. I don't know.
Right. I think that is part of it. And it's also I just find... Obviously, I know because of COVID they stopped doing it, but family visits are just so much more fun.
I agree.
In every single capacity. And I think just as a viewer, maybe this is just me being, I don't know, not emotional about this. But I'm I just don't really care to hear the letters without getting a visual on these people person. Really. Or
right.
I think it'd be different if it, you know what? I actually think it'd be more fun if it was a video that they showed them or something. But something about it being the letter. I'm I'm just
they
really
did that
uninterested.
in 42 and 41, I believe. They did videos of their families instead of just letters.
I think that's so much more fun.
I think it's fun too. There's something about us as the audience seeing the person that makes it more
Yes.
engaging.
Yeah.
So that's tea. I agree. While we're still at camp, Eva says she feels like the boys left her behind to have fun. They went out for a night out and left her behind. And she feels like she's been stuck with the boring parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't feel any sympathy for you. Also, this is what happens when you don't build relationships with people outside of your alliance, is that you feel like you can't talk to these people, even though you've been in a merged portion of the game for the last 10 days. You've had time to get to know these people. I just know this is not because Mitch and Camilla are boring. It's because you have no relationship because you have not tried to get to know these people. I just know that's what the tea is.
I cannot imagine a world in which I would call Camilla boring.
Right.
Mitch, jury's still out. But, like, no, it's so annoying. I'm like, why would you say these things about these people that you genuinely don't know?
Like, I just know that,
like,
right.
How do you not know these people well enough to, like, be able to spend an afternoon on the beach alone with them?
Right.
Without, like, being bored out of your mind? I don't know.
I agree. I just feel like we were trying to be set up that Mitch and Camilla don't seem very happy. But I was like, I just know Eva hasn't connected with these people.
No, or even tried.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe she has. Who knows? I'm sure we'll be told if it's the other way around. But
yeah.
We go back to the reward. Everybody's ate. They're kind of relaxing. There's Joe and Shaheen are left by themselves. Kyle is out and about, and immediately, Shaheen is like, "What's the vibe with Kyle?"
Yeah.
And Shaheen's like, "Would we consider it?" And Joe's like, "I don't know. I'd have to really think about it." Joe doesn't think he can beat either of them. I think that's what I wrote that down, but I'm reading it. I'm like, I don't know if that's what I
don't know. Oh, so this part, actually, I forgot to mention this. So I missed all of this the first time. Like, this was the important part that I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting context of, like, before, without this part, I was like, no, that's so random of, like, Joe to just, like, kind of not believe Shaheen, or, like, not, yeah, I guess, like, kind of believe Kyle more in this situation. But then when I saw this, I was like, no, this makes a little bit more sense because Shaheen was trying to scheme a little bit.
Right. And so Shaheen brings up the fact about putting Kyle's name out there.
Yeah.
Which starts the sourness a little bit.
And also, like, that is the wrong guy.
Yeah, the guy who has said that he's loyal to his core till the end.
And has said over and over again that he wants to go to the end with all the strong people. Like,
yeah.
Just because all of a sudden you're feeling a bit threatened by that doesn't mean that wasn't sort of this guy's plan the whole time. And, like, you're just sort of now putting those pieces together of, like, oh, maybe this actually was the plan.
So that's that conversation, and we're left being like, what's going to happen? Well, Joe gets up to leave, and so Kyle and Shaheen talk. Mm-hmm. And Shaheen's like, where's your head at? And Kyle's thinking about the game more with his head now, as we heard at the beginning of the episode. And we get from a confessional that Kyle and Shaheen have been playing chicken. Camilla says this as well about them. Kyle and Shaheen have been in the background going after each other, and this has started ever since Shaheen went through his bag at the Vula 2.0 tribe. Mm-hmm. And he knows that he can't trust Shaheen and what he says because Shaheen never was truthful about that experience. Mm-hmm. Shaheen brings up the fact that if the two of them get Joe out at the moment, then they, Kyle and Shaheen, would be the front runners. But if Joe is on the jury, he's for sure going to be an advocate for Eva. So,
but I don't even think I agree with that.
Sorry about that, y'all. The dogs be barking. Ooh, the dogs be barking. After a long day, the dogs be barking. Anyways, so the point of all this is that Shaheen is now scheming behind Joe's back and is talking to Kyle. Kyle does not trust Shaheen. Mm-hmm. And they, this is, to go back to the point we were just making, was that it doesn't really make sense that Joe, they think that Joe is going to be or Eva on the jury.
Oh, yes.
Joe on the jury would be support for Eva, an advocate for Eva. So
Yes.
they need to get Eva out here, is what they were saying.
Okay, now I remember what I was saying. I'm thinking, I don't know if Joe necessarily would vote for Eva in the end. Like, I kind of, maybe I'm, like, getting it
You think it's a
wrong
Maria
about
Charlie
this.
situation?
Well, I don't even see them as that. I kind of feel like Joe, I could be wrong about this, by the way, but I feel like Joe sort of sees Eva as, like, this obviously strong person, but, like, he's kind of a father figure to her in the game, like, wanting to protect her. And it feels like more, Charlie and Maria felt more like this active, like, working duo working in the game together, where it feels like Eva and Joe are this kind of just, like, duo, but it doesn't feel like Eva's really doing a whole lot of, like, actual...
Like, they're not scheming together.
Yes. It's more just, like, he's protecting her, and, like, she also has his back, but it doesn't feel like he would just vote for her in the end. Like, I don't know if he's like, oh, I think Eva's played the best game out of whoever else she would be next to, especially, like, depending on how they argue their case. But, like, I don't think she's just a shoo-in. I don't think he's a shoo-in to, like, vote for her in the end.
I feel like we say this every time. I'm so surprised they've made it this far in the game together.
Yes.
I'm like, I don't understand what like, why has nobody put a stop to this ever at any point of the game? Or tried to.
Literally, they've not even tried.
I think that's what gags me. No, but I think you're right, everything you said. And yet again, we are after another point of this season. This happened multiple times this season. I think just recently in Survivor, where we want to get a man out, so let's get the girl out instead.
Yeah.
Like, why is this happening? But no, you're right. I think their relationship seems much more personal and not focused on game. So I can see what you're saying. We would have to, I don't know. I feel like their opinion on Joe, to me, is right. Or maybe their opinion on Joe about how he would be rooting for Eva might be right. But I don't know if they'd I don't know if Joe would be an outward, like, try to get all the jury to vote for Eva type situation. I don't know if that's what the T would be, but I do feel like Joe would probably be a for sure vote for Eva. But I don't think he would be out there being like, you guys have to vote for Eva. You guys aren't seeing her game, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because, I mean, compared to everyone else that, like, if Joe's not in it, I don't really see how Eva does win. Next to...
Right. Like, she was given her idol.
Yeah.
Basically was given that advantage that she didn't use. And what, you say, oh, I had this safety without power that I didn't have to use, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
But, like, people were not really scared of the Eva of it all in the Eva and Joe. It was more the Joe.
Right.
And Eva, you can't mess with Eva
because
if you want to be on Joe's bad side. Yeah. Right. So, I don't know. That's just my view on things. I could be wrong.
All of this, basically, this whole conversation between Shaheen and Kyle gives Kyle the okay. Gives him the ammo he needed to go after Shaheen. And says that Shaheen wanting to turn on their alliance gives Kyle the ethical okay to go after Shaheen. Like, that's what he's been waiting for, basically.
Yeah.
So it starts getting into motion. We come back, they're back from the reward, and immediately Kyle tells Camilla everything. And constructs this whole plan. If they want to get themselves to the Final Four, this is the best possible route. The plan is for Kyle to go to Eva and Joe and says that Shaheen showed his idol to Camilla. And that they are, Shaheen is trying to flip Camilla and Mitch to get out either Joe or Eva. And we, being Joe, Eva, and Kyle, need to work together to get Shaheen out. Yeah. That would hopefully be enough ammo and enough suspicion onto Shaheen to do it. And then Camilla's end of this would be that if Joe and Eva come up to her, that she would corroborate the story and say, I did in fact see his idol. He showed it to me and said that the intended plan to use is to vote out either Joe or Eva.
Am I wrong in thinking that the lie part is kind of unnecessary?
What part of the lie? The whole thing is a lie.
Well, no, but some of it's not a lie.
I guess you're true. Some of it is not a lie. There is no idol, but Shaheen did throw.
Yeah.
I don't think
And
Shaheen did throw Joe under the bus. Sorry to finish that thought. Finish what you're going to say.
I was going to say, I mean, obviously, this is a viewer thing, and Kyle doesn't know this, and I didn't know it the first time I was watching the episode, that Shaheen had thrown Kyle's name out as a possibility to Joe. But I feel like in other cases, it's felt like just saying that you want to go, like someone in the alliance wants to go after the Godfather in this situation, or really anyone else in the alliance, that has been enough. And I feel like it's kind of dangerous lying, like coming up with a lie like this to the guy whose number one problem is lying. And it's just like, I think that's a really dangerous position to put yourself in. And I don't know if the risk is worth the reward of it all.
I agree that this is very, very risky to do, especially to Joe. I do think that the lie about the idol was kind of a crucial part in solidifying that Shaheen goes, because if putting the idol part in this adds a little bit more of a necessity to keep things quiet, if that makes sense. We've seen that Joe in the past, when he's paranoid, he can be a little loose-lipped. He can be a little agitated and will ask questions. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And we see him borderline almost do that this episode. I think had Kyle just said the truth, and Kyle had just gone up to Joe and said, hey, at the reward, you stepped away and he said your name. I think Joe then would have confronted Shaheen and been like, what's tea about this? And then that could have shaken things up to go against Kyle. Or, not Kyle, I don't know if they would have gone against Kyle, but it could have kept things normal or whatever. Like, things would have been more direct. A problem could have been solved. Like, Joe and Shaheen could have communicated about it, and who knows, maybe Mitch or Camilla could have gone, right?
Yeah.
I think the idol part is necessary because that adds, like, oh, well, if he does actually have an idol, whether or not this is true or not, you kind of now have to move under the assumption that it's true. Because the repercussions of this are worse if it's true. And so then you can't be as direct with Shaheen, because then what? If Shaheen ends up playing it, then who knows who could go? Who knows what could happen? So now you're moving under the guides or the lens that you have to be a little bit more selective about what you tell Shaheen, because so now you can't really clarify the lie, I guess.
That's true. I think where I'm thinking two things. One, why I still don't understand why Camilla would want to go along with this, because if Joe had asked, gotten any concrete information on this, about this idol or whatever, that makes Camilla look bad, and I feel like it gives Kyle kind of an out, because he can be like, well, Camilla then lied to me. Camilla just told me that. I didn't see it. She did.
Yeah, I guess if the beef gets bad, if the jury is really mad about this lie, then he could throw Camilla under the bus and let it be what it is. But I have a feeling that Kyle would rather take the credit. I feel like the jury is going to want him to take credit for the move, which then goes back to the original point you made of this part, is that why would Camilla go along with this? I think that Camilla, it's best for Camilla to go along with it, personally, if I was in Camilla's shoes, because now this is potentially securing you a spot in the Final Four instead of the Final Five. You know what I mean? It's one step closer to the Final Three than what you were promised before. Yeah. So at least it's getting you closer. Because at this point, Camilla's playing the game where she just needs to make it to the end. Whether or not she wins with whatever group of people she's at the end with is another question. But at least if she earns a spot in the Final Three, then she has the chance to fight for the win, which is better than if you go home at Final Four. or 5.
Totally. But I think my other thing is I don't understand why Joe didn't, like, this is a conversation for later probably, but I don't understand why he didn't, like, try and be like, I don't know why he wasn't direct with Shaheen is what I should say.
Right.
I don't know why he wasn't just like, well, I heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor.
That you have an idol. You can either prove that right or wrong right now. Or you cannot give me an answer and I'll vote you out. I don't know. I think that's where my thoughts are. And then it would just get back to Camilla. I don't know. I guess like Mr. Honesty, I'm like, why would he not seek out the truth? Like, why is he not being a truth seeker? Because then if he does seek out the truth, then it makes Kyle and Camilla look bad.
I think part of it too is we've seen in the past, there's been a lot of talk about paranoia this season. Mm-hmm. Not to drag this conversation on longer, but I do think Joe, we've seen him paranoid a couple times so far this season, and he loses all sense of self when he's paranoid. Like,
that's true.
From what we've seen. So maybe Kyle and Camilla were playing into the fact that this would get Joe really paranoid and that he would get a little messy with how he solves the problem, you know?
And, you know, I guess at the end of the day, they know him better than I do.
So true.
But if I were in that position and if I were trying to play this honest game and I was hearing rumors about one of the key members of my alliance, I feel like I would try and get to the bottom of that.
Right, like Joe was asking a lot of good questions to the wrong people. I'm like, why don't you just go up to Shaheen and ask this question?
Yeah.
Camilla's telling him, and Joe's like, we've been working together this whole time and he didn't once mention the idol. Maybe it's because he doesn't have one, babe.
Yeah. I just feel like all of that should, like, I don't understand why all these questions were being asked, like you just said. Why did Shaheen not get the privilege of being asked those questions?
Right.
And, like, how is he supposed to know? I don't know. And, like, I guess that's part of, like, the beauty of it for Kyle and Camilla, but I'm still just like, this is so weird to me.
It is weird. It feels like all the relationship you've built up the past however many days, you just threw that out of the window for one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before we go to the immunity challenge, we have one more moment with Joe where he says it's time. He goes to the beach and he talks to his sister, Joanna. Mm-hmm. He's trying to find personal closure. And I think this is a very sweet moment.
I think so too.
However,
I thought it was nice.
However.
What?
Get that camera out of his fucking face.
Yeah.
Why? You know what? I don't have any personal stakes in this storyline. This is very clearly something meant for Joe. Maybe it's like Joe and his family can rewatch this and have this moment, right?
Yeah.
I don't have personal stakes in this. I don't know Joe personally. I didn't know his sister Joanna personally. I don't need this closure. I'm like, why are we shoving a camera in his face? I swear to God, that camera was a foot away from his face.
Like, let him have his moment.
He bends over on the beach and they go under and I like put it, and I'm like, step back. Let this man breathe. He's very clearly having a very special, important moment to him. Yeah. I think it's special. There's nothing wrong with the moment. I think it's fine. But I'm like, part of me is like, we as the audience, I don't need to be that close to him. You could zoom out. You have a mic on him. Just be in the back and have the mic just playing what he's saying. I don't need to see his face from a foot away.
And I think this kind of gets into a greater thing that I've had a problem with, and like I think we've talked about. I mean, I know we have. Is some of these moments just feel so overproduced.
Yes.
When I'm like, this is such a touching, sweet, vulnerable moment. I don't need you to be getting all the right angles. Like,
right.
I think it would have been more beautiful if you had
sort music,
of
the cut, like
him. He's in the shot with the water on the beach. Like,
right.
Just let him sort of like have his space. And
right.
I think it would have been
to
more
feel
beautiful.
His emotions.
Yes, if it would have been like us just watching this moment that he has been building up and
right.
like waiting to do, but instead it's like this whole thing and like not in a good way.
Right.
And like I know that, to bring it back to the Eva moment earlier this season, but like that was our critique then too, was like you take this very real moment and then you make it so like showy on a TV show that feels like, I feel like a lot of the point is like it's not supposed to be showy. Like, it's
right.
supposed to just be, like, real.
Right.
And I don't know. So I think not capitalizing, but, like, it feels like you're kind of taking advantage of these moments. And, like,
right.
I don't like it.
And I agree. And that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts there.
Oh, someone just woke up. Oh, big stretch.
Those are my thoughts there. It was a fun moment, and I'm happy. Hopefully, he got some real closure from that.
Yeah.
And I wish the best for Joe and his family.
Me too. And I hope he gets another moment without a camera shoved in his face on the beach.
Right.
Ugh. I have another thing to say, though, about the filming this episode. I don't know if it was, like, my Paramount Plus stream or what, but, like, sometimes I was like, the camera quality is not giving right now. Like, throughout the episode, I noticed it multiple times. I was like, this is not giving what it can, what I know it's capable of. And so then this moment on top of that, I was like, what is going on here?
I feel like Survivor in the new era has had some really good cinematic moments. And I do think we've talked about that on this podcast multiple times. I know I at least have been like, this show is so pretty.
Yeah.
But you're right. Sometimes there's something, I don't know, this season it just has, it's hit or miss moments, you know?
Yeah.
Let's go on to the immunity challenge.
Yeah.
Toss a sandbag through a rope. Then use that rope to pull themselves while balancing on a barrel. OMG. They have to then make their way under a net, get a bag of balls, and then maneuver the balls, balance the balls along this like snake maze puzzle thing, drop it in its spot 2 times, and then you win immunity. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Nothing really crazy happens this challenge. Joe wins his 4th immunity, joining a special league of people.
Good for him.
Can he win one more? I think 5 is the record in the season. Tie the record, maybe?
You know what? As I was watching this and thinking, at this point, I hope Joe... No, I don't know if I necessarily do hope Joe wins, but, like, if he does win, good for him.
Right.
He, like, was able to win all these challenges, and, like, I can be annoyed that people... I don't want to... Like... what's the word? Like, people are willing to just go along with whatever this man says, but he truly has just, like, so played a Godfather game.
Right.
And, like, I have to give that to him. Even
And
if I
I
didn't
like Joe.
necessarily... Right. Like, even if I didn't necessarily enjoy watching it unfold, like, he does seem like a genuinely good guy. And, like... I mean, if he wins the game at this point, like, I mean, everyone else is has been trying to help him win this whole time, so I feel like he should.
Like, I can't be mad at it. I can't hate the player. Gotta hate the game.
Right, exactly.
Like, if Joe wins, he wins, and I feel like it's a deserved win.
I feel like that too.
But, not to be my delusional self, I do feel like Kyle is getting a better winner's edit.
It is actually crazy.
So, we'll have to see. But yeah, Joe wins immunity, shocker. He is safe and making his spot into not only the finale, but the final, well, I guess not only the final 5, but the finale of Survivor 48, GAG.
Yeah.
Good for him. So post challenges when the things really start moving and shaking.
Yeah.
We jump in. Kyle immediately pulls Joe aside and puts the plan in motion. He says, Joe, I hate to break it to you, but Camilla told me that Shaheen showed her an idol and that you are the target. You and Eva are the targets.
Yeah.
This gags Joe bad. He says, wait a minute. Say it all again. Say it slowly. Say it again.
Says, wait, I need to process this.
We get a moment where Joe is like, okay, I need to just hear what the people are saying to me and then look at their reaction, look at their body language, their eyes. Like, I need to be able to really break it down what they're saying to me. And I'm like, hey, if that's what you need to do, then do what you need to do.
Right.
And they break it down and Joe is on the hook. Kyle has baited Joe just a little bit.
Yeah.
Joe goes up to Eva and explains what he just heard from Kyle and is like, girl, what do you think? Again, this very of the relationship is just like they share information, but there's no actual like game planning. It's very much just, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
And that's what happens. Eva's like, well, I feel hurt by Shaheen. Because we were working together. I can't believe he would lie to us like that. And I think this is a moment where, I don't think it's happened a lot this season, and Eva does say this at Tribal, where she's like, you know, a lot of people, I thought that me telling people them lying to me would hurt my game, but it hasn't really hurt me since. And I do think that this is a moment where Eva is sort of easily swept up in the fact, her emotions of Shaheen lied to me, instead of questioning where, like Joe did in the previous scene, questioning how this came. Why am I being told this information now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix my. I had spicy pho for dinner the other night, and I did eat at my desk because it was at like 10 p.m. and I don't want to sit alone in the dark upstairs. I'm still sort of finding spicy pho splatters on my thing. On my mic, I did just notice that I have a little bit of a spot. I'm trying to fix my. Anyway, so is that better? A little. Oh, work. And so then Joe talks to Eva, and they both are sort of in on this point. They're like, okay, maybe Shaheen is catching some steam here. Joe needs to now check in with Camilla. Mm-hmm. And Camilla puts on the performance of her life as she's done throughout this whole season. And Camilla goes along with the story.
Yeah.
She says, he just showed it to me. At one point, a pawn frond falls on top of her.
Right? And that's instant karma for lying to Joe.
It is instant karma. And
no one lies to the Godfather.
Joe doesn't catch on about the karma, and he is falling for it. Camilla put in the work. Another great confessional from Camilla during this. She says, one of my favorite things to do this season is to not give someone any context and then run them over with the bus, back up, and then run them over again. It's just fun, is what she says.
I love her.
I do too. A great confessionalist.
She is.
Loving it for her, loving it for us. And then Joe says, okay, everybody's telling me Shaheen is going against me. I have to go to the source of the problem.
In the most indirect way possible.
Indirect way. In the way, go to him, but then actually not go to him at all.
And actually just confuse him on what this conversation is about.
Right. And then convince myself that his confusion on what's happening is more evidence on the point at hand. Like, this is the paranoia. This is the...
I hope Joe watches this back and is like, oh my God.
Wow, they got my ass good.
They got me, and I could not have been more confusing. And right. Shaheen is so lost. So lost.
Joe talks to Shaheen and trying to figure out whether Shaheen is lying or not. And Shaheen doesn't admit anything. Mind you, he does not have anything to admit.
Right.
Mind you, there's nothing to admit. And this basically leads Joe down a further line of paranoia and anxiety, and is like, oh my God, he's not telling me anything. Shaheen immediately feels this weird vibe. Well, and he's like, what's going on?
Yeah, he's like, I feel like you're trying to, like, talk about something, but you're not, like, telling me what it is. And Joe's like, I don't know.
Joe's like, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, I don't know.
If I were Shaheen, I would be going actually insane. Like,
he basically does.
Use your words.
Joe walks up and leaves, and immediately Shaheen tells every other person in the same exact spot on the shelter. It's like a cycle. Everybody comes in and sits next to him. And to Kyle, Camilla, and Eva, he's like, and then he like accused me of stuff, but then he like didn't actually accuse me. Like, he just wouldn't say what he was trying to say. And like, I don't understand why he's mad at me. I'm like, maybe it's Joe's time to go.
Maybe, yeah. A few episodes ago.
Yeah, maybe you should have hopped on that train a little sooner, babe.
Yeah.
And we're sort of left at that. We have a final confessional with Joe, and Eva and him are talking, and the plan seems to be working. Joe knows for sure today stuff was happening in the background. Like, he knows some sort of plan happened.
Yeah.
In the back. He just doesn't know whether or not it was Shaheen doing it or Kyle doing it. But something was happening, and it's all just going to come down to a gut feeling.
I had one more comment that I noted. I don't remember exactly when he said this, but it might have been in a confessional. But Shaheen called Joe his number one. He's like, yeah. I just think it's so crazy of, like, my number one to be turning on me. Or, like,
I thought Camilla was your number one.
I'm like, why would Joe in any world be your number one when you are so, like, clearly not his number one? And like,
that's what yeah.
Like, not even just not clearly, like, Joe outright says, like, Eva's his number one?
Right.
Why are you putting all your eggs in Joe's basket this whole time?
I think it's a great point. Like, why would you want to work with somebody knowing that they don't value you at the same rate?
Right. When, like, I know other people would have loved to have worked with him.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we leave, and then we go to tribal. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty fun tribal. Well, we get a weird editing moment here. At one point, Shaheen is talking, and we have another Eva eye roll, which, classic Eva. And we have this weird editing moment where it goes back and forth. We have Kyle talking. Mm-hmm. And we're focused in on Joe. We're really seeing this from Joe's perspective. He's very intently listening to everything. He's trying to put all these pieces together about what's happening. And we have this weird tune-up moment where Kyle is talking, and it goes like the beep, like
focus.
Right, out of focus. It's just on Joe's face, and it's just silent, like muffled, like you can't really hear. And it's like, what is happening? And then the same thing happens when Shaheen starts talking. And we're really, really pushing this idea that Shaheen is, that Joe is locked and he's really, really trying to work out what is the truth.
But my question is like, okay, I hear you. However, if you, like, no matter what decision you would come to, what were you going to do about it?
Right.
Like, if you were going to decide not to go with Shaheen and, like, instead vote Mitch, like Mitch catching strays.
Right.
Like, would you have had a moment where you, like, you know, make it a moment and you get up and talk to Eva or whatever? Like, I just don't know what he was planning on doing in that situation. It felt like he should have sort of come to a conclusion a bit earlier.
Yeah, I agree. Like, unless you were going to get up and
cause a commotion.
Right. Which I doubt he would have done.
I also doubt that, so I'm like, what was the point of all of that?
It's interesting. That, and then that kind of wraps that up. They get up to vote. I had this kind of off comment. Mitch gets up to vote, and I said, the way that we have heard nothing from him this episode.
I was thinking that.
He got up to, Jeff said, Mitch, it's your turn to vote. And I said, wait. The way Mitch was involved with nothing this episode. Absolutely nothing. We hear from him, but not even from him. We hear it from Camilla about Mitch being bitter that Shaheen picked Joe to go on the reward. Like, Mitch just, like, how do you get no screen time at the final six? I am screaming. In an episode full of people talking about their thoughts on what's happening on the game.
And when, like, you were the other option.
Right.
And also you decided that now is the time to make a move, and then you just didn't want to be a part of it. Like, no. Or I guess no one wanted you to be a part of it.
Right.
Because they wanted you as a safe option to vote out. Like, that is really tough for him.
Damn. It is tough for him. And you know what? He made it to the final. Good for him. It's giving very Romeo from Survivor.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that.
So we'll have to
Except
see.
Like less funny.
Right.
And like not in like a not intentionally way. I think Mitch is very like he tries to be funny in his stories. Romeo is just like so cool he didn't need to try and be funny.
Right. I have rumor that Romeo is going to win Survivor 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Get on that. Get on your Zoom. And the plan works. It's a 4-2 vote on Shaheen and Mitch. Mitch, Joe, Kyle, and Eva vote Shaheen. Shaheen and Camilla vote Mitch. I said, interesting. I will never doubt you, Queen. She had something up. She did something for a purpose, and I'm sure we'll hear about it next episode. But I'm not going to doubt her. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She voted Mitch for a specific reason. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how that works out.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how that works out. Especially, like, what is Mitch gonna think after? Like, what?
Right.
I'm excited to see where his head's sort of at.
At this point, like, Mitch kind of needs to work with Camilla. Like, nobody else wants to work with him. So...
No, he's fully just there.
Right. I'm interested to see, because now Camilla never technically wronged Shaheen other than lying on his name. She never actually voted him out, though. Yeah. So what? Wait, That's the recourse, like, at Final Shopping Answer, Shaheen's like, well, you literally lied. And I was like, well, I didn't actually vote for you, so what's tea? No, because, like, what's tea? I didn't actually vote for you, so what's tea?
Yeah, she knows something we don't.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Shaheen on his way out, hugs Kyle, or he asks for a hug from everybody, hugs Kyle, and then is like, y'all know you just took out the best player. Shaheen, I want a little bit of the Delulu juice that you've been drinking, respectfully.
I need some of that.
I hate when somebody, you know what it's giving? It's giving Liz on 46 or whatever.
I was just thinking
Liz
that.
crying after losing Fire and being like, y'all needed to get me out because I would have swept the jury. Diva, bye.
Oh, get Shaheen and Liz on a podcast.
Get them on the pod. And that's it. Maddie and I talked about this like right before recording, also at the beginning of the episode. But my final thought, well, I guess second to final because we have one more thing to get into. But
Oh, right.
I was left not excited. Like, you'd think on paper I should have been thrilled that this happened, that the core four got shook up a little bit. But I'm bored.
Care.
I'm bored and I don't care. I'm not excited. I feel like this season has made me numb to anything. I'm just like, whatever. I'm ready to kind of just wrap it up at this point.
I'm actually so over it. And I also felt that way. As I was watching it, I was just like, okay, I don't really care about no matter what happens, I'm just not interested. I'm not invested in anything. Like, I would be happy. I mean, obviously, if Camilla or Kyle won, and like even Joe at this point, but like, we aren't really getting to the end in an exciting way.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of like, okay. And wrapping this up, I'm like, in what world was Shaheen the best player? Like, I'm just so, am I missing something huge? Like, I don't think I am in this situation, but I don't know. I'm just like, okay. Watch The Amazing Race. This season was so much better.
We have one final thing to go over this episode. We have one last Survivor 50 vote, y'all.
Yeah.
There was only one thing to vote on this episode. Idols. Yeah. I'm going to read out the blurb. Okay. Your last big decision regarding gameplay. Idols are a big part of today's game and responsible for some of the most dramatic moves in Survivor history, but for Survivor 50, you get to decide idols or no idols.
They love to say that. Most dramatic thing
right.
moves in Survivor history.
No idols. I don't like idols. I want to take Survivor back to its roots, a very simple game where a reliable alliance was the single most important thing and could take you all the way to the end. Yes, idols. Are you serious? I love idols. They reward players who hustle and they create uncertainty that can change the game at any moment. Why have we voted on this like 4 fucking times already? I swear to God, every single time this same exact thing has been up for like
I thought this would be lumped in with advantages. Why
and
are we
had that
voting?
discussion last time we talked about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't it's the vagueness of it.
Yeah.
Like, obviously I want idols, but I don't want 20 idols. Like, I don't want 20 idols in the game. It's the vagueness of like, okay, yes, idols, but give me like 3. Like, I don't want 7 idols.
And like, I'm not going to vote no idols. Because
right.
I do agree, like, some of the most iconic moments in Survivor are incredible idol plays. But like, I don't want it to be so idol. Like, I want minimal idols. I want a shocking idol. I want a fun little sprinkle of an idol. But I'm also like, I don't really want to vote on this.
Yeah, I'm like,
I thought we were kind of on the same page of like, yeah, we like idols.
Right.
It's the other advantages I feel like people have more of an issue with.
I swear we voted on this. Here, I'll even go back because I have all.
And guys, I will put the link to this in our description.
We voted on twists last time, which I feel like is the same thing. And then the time before that, I thought on episode 6 we had maybe it was.
It was like
4.
On
episode 4.
Yeah.
Advantages.
Yeah.
Gameplay. Our advantages are exciting in a way. How much do you want advantages to have in Survivor 50?
Yeah.
What kind of power? We voted on this 3 times in different verbiage.
Yeah.
And did I have the first episode? I don't have the first episodes or the first vote session, but like at least 3 times. I would argue probably 4 off the top of my head, but it's just like,
yeah,
like, I don't know.
This
kind of flopped. This flopped. This idea of voting on things, like, it flopped.
Because I think we're just not voting on the things that we actually want. Because imagine if the votes were voting for people you want to see on, or if they gave us like a couple different themes and you got to vote on the
for
theme.
Like the All-Star season, like themes of casting or how to separate people,
or like I don't know, just other big things, like that are more fun. Like why are we voting on idols? That's so dumb. And also, like, once again, I want to see the data. Why would you say no idols?
Right.
Like, there's just no point in this.
I think that you're right. I would have much preferred all the energy get put into us finalizing the cast. Because imagine, they're still finalizing the cast of season 50 right now. Like,
Yeah.
there could have been such a fun fan vote element, like a second chance type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree. Like, imagine, yeah, they like, I don't know. They could have done it. They could have done something so cool. What a missed opportunity.
That kind of wraps up our episode here before the finale.
Guys, I'm so excited for the finale.
I'm excited for it to be over.
You know what? Oh my god, are we gonna say what season we're covering after?
I think we should do it next episode.
I think so too. And guys, I'm just on the edge of my seat waiting to watch that season.
I know.
I've been thinking about how excited I am.
Ooh, I've been waiting for this one.
Finally, some good TV.
Oh, gag them, drag them. Well, work. Thank you all for watching. If you'd like, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube where you're currently watching this episode, and you can get ready for our summer Survivor coverage, our finale coverage. It's going to be so exciting. We're here for the long haul, everybody. Mm-hmm. And follow us on our socials: TikTok and Instagram at MakingFirePod. And that's it. We'll see y'all next week for the finale of Survivor 48.
Bye.